Hey, what's up? Coach Oyama here. I have a passion to help you improve, and I specialize in macro. Here's my contact info. All my coaching is free. All you gotta do is DM me. Yeah, my contact, my Discord, and like some experience that I have. But today we have something exciting, something very, very unique.
Alright.
I was very hesitant on trying to do this because Hog. Let's talk about Hog. Ugh, okay. Yep, that's all I want to talk about Hog. He's pretty bad. So going into this, I'm not expecting the greatest because I know that for sure. My personal opinion in Vendetta is I never have my team play Hog ever. If they pick Hog, I will literally go to my main tank's house and slap him across the face and then tell him to play something different. Currently, as it is, because Hog right now is just in a real fun place where you cannot play him and get very much value because your entire goal is to make space, and Hog as a flanker is okay, but except he got nerfed to the point where he can't really flank anymore. Okay. Let's okay. I'm watching here, looking at the team comps, understanding what's going on. They do have a Zenyatta, you do have a Pharah, which is kind of whack. One thing I would say here is I like how you're not pushing forward. Your Pharah kind of screwed that up. But if you can, because the way that I've seen Hog play, I forgot, was it in the program and where they played Legion? That was like I didn't even think of it, but it was the only acceptable playstyle that I saw for Hog, where it's like you zone the enemies and you lock them in a choke and brawl them to the point where if they move forward, you hook them a little and draw so many resources. Your leverage trade of cooldowns are like one hook for like lamp, like Bionade, and like everything that the enemy tank has to get them back. So taking space is very hard, but holding space indirectly is an amazing way to play Hog, I feel. And yeah, I feel like this passive aggressive way of playing Hog is doing pretty good for you here. You're kind of just existing and staying alive and getting space here. Okay, I like it. But to be fair, you did miss a hook on that Reinhardt very early on. That would have been really good for your team. Okay. Okay, one thing I want to say about this ultimate here. To me, the way that I like to play Colosseo, or the way that I like to coach Colosseo, is I think of it very much as a high ground oriented map. Where if you're on this low ground, you're always going to lose this team fight. It's so very hard to win a team fight on this low ground. So if you can somehow get all of your value, or put all of your value and all of your resources to getting them off of this high ground, or taking this high ground so they have to contest it and it's not free for them like it is now, because their Discord orb is always online with this on high ground uncontested. Your Pharah is gone. Your Mercy is linked to the Pharah, so it's just not ideal. Your Soldier has to take these high risk, like high downtime plays where he flanks and tries to get them off the high ground. So if you can somehow do something to get them off the high ground, or get them get their resources drawn out so your team can take the high ground. So at the beginning of this team fight, one huge mistake that I see a lot of really high level players also is engaging too early. On this map specifically, not in general, just specifically this map. When you're on this low ground, even though it seems like you need to do something, they cannot contest the cart. And if you play these corners here, your entire team is a-okay, and they have to drop into your kill box and into your chokehold and contest the cart that way. And so if you just wait and okay, if you're contesting from up here, then I would say that's fine. But the cart is all the way back here, and you're playing so far in front of the cart. So to me, you should just be pushing the cart right now and not making anything happen. Especially since your team comp, you play these angles, and you don't have to waste that many resources. You just slowly draw down everyone's resources till you're both at like 70%. And then, once the cart is out of place, your ult will have so much more effectiveness because you extend the amount that your team can do. And so your team can't follow up on this because they're on cart. And so even though this is a really good ultimate, and it forces them to lose all of their space, you force a lot of attention, you force a lot of cooldowns, make space, take their space, but for what? If you just did this ult 25, 30 seconds after, that looks like an uwu cat face. Okay, but if you did this ult just a little bit later when the cart was around right here and they had to contest, then you would probably get either really close to the choke point, or if you won this team fight, at the checkpoint. And so this is like one small but very impactful mistake that I'm going to mention for like most of the VOD reviews on this map until everyone is able to understand this map more. Yeah, and so I think this loss in this fight was pretty much inevitable. There's only like a 20% chance that you guys win into this fight when they have tempo on ults and you have the low ground. But I think the cart could have been pushed to here, and that's the difference between the next fight that you win gets the checkpoint and doesn't get the checkpoint. And I'm predicting that you guys, when you guys do turn the tides back and you get here, you're only gonna push it to like right in front of the checkpoint, and then it's gonna be stuck there. Whereas if you waited 30 seconds for that ult. So very map specific knowledge, but I feel like it's very important for this map, especially since players aren't as accustomed to this map compared to others. Okay. Because I haven't seen Hog in play, I don't exactly know the right plays for Hog. I'm gonna be honest, but my best guess is maybe just a slightly bit better than anyone else's best guess. Probably just as even as a good Hog player's best guess, so I'm assuming that you've played Hog quite a bit. I feel like just leveraging the high ground, because I was thinking about maybe flank, because it seemed like they were taking a lot of space, but they're sitting in the kill box anyways, so like your positioning it's negligent, it doesn't really matter. Sip of water here. Okay, one dilemma on this map: you don't have the high ground. Pushing through this is terrible, but it's like near impossible to get the high ground, so I'm more of kind of like being an activist by complaining instead of providing any solutions. But there really aren't any solutions. I'm just pointing it out, because if you somehow get the opportunity to get them off of the high ground, contest the high ground, or even take the high ground, it's beautiful. And indirectly, you hog ult their reset into the corner and they have to drop to get to her, or they have to push forward and step off the high ground to contest you guys. Yeah, because now using your ultimates down here, you don't get it nearly as much value as if they were off of high ground or if you were on this high ground. And yeah, you guys use both your ultimates and get like nothing done. So I think the one thing that I would recommend is, instead of just existing in chokehold, your team's going to lose like this compared to where you were existing before over there. If you can maybe flank around here, take this off angle so they have to match you, and it's awkward for them, because if they look at you, your team now has an off angle in main, and so it contorts the map, where instead of the lanes, Overwatch has 3 lanes always: main, left, and right flank. It contorts the map, so then the enemy tank has to contest you here. This turns into the right flank, and this is the left flank. And now everyone in main previously, what used to be main, is on the left flank-ish. And so your team is able to shoot them and make use of your engage over here. Or you're forcing their attention to that side. That is one thing that I could recommend, and it's almost like a flank or an off angle, but not necessarily. It's more of like just adapting or forcing the enemies to match you. I don't know if that makes sense or not, and I don't really have a word for that, but it's like, contorting the map. Okay, one thing here is get on high ground, because actually I think getting on high ground is much better, or at least playing the ramp, because your hook here, the entire point of hook in the way to play Hog right now is very teamwork oriented, where you can't just flank and go out and get kills. So your hook needs to provide value in the sense that it takes cooldowns, or it takes their life, and usually it takes cooldowns. Okay, on ram now. Yeah, it'd be like that. So if you're off flanking, it's not going to take cooldowns because your teammates aren't able to follow up on the hook. So it's much better if you're in an off angle or in main. And the difference between an off angle and a hard angle is you're still connected, or off angle you're still connected to your team directly or indirectly. And a hard flank is or hard off, hard flank, hard off, hard angle, hard counter, hard flank. Yeah, guys, vocabulary. A hard flank is you're completely disconnected from your team, and even if you rotate back, it's going to take like much more effort to get to them than anything. So it'll put you like offline. It's really just a difference between like, will you be online after you're done with this angle and it goes bad, or will you be like offline forever trying to get back to your supports or health back? Quick micro thing, don't assume that anyone's going to shoot the lamp. If you want something done, do it yourself. Especially in comp, your teammates are like, just assume that they're incompetent, but you still have to trust them, so you have to shoot the lamp. I know there are moments where it's just like, if I shoot the lamp, then I won't have enough damage to kill them, but like, just shoot the lamp. they're like 9 out of 10 times your teammates aren't going to shoot the lamp, and you're like, damn, if I just shot the lamp. Yeah, just shoot the lamp. Okay, so looking at the ultimates here, I can immediately tell that you guys are going to Nano Ramen. Yeah, especially after that happens. I think Nano Ram is always superior to Nano Blade because of the amount of space that it provides and how many things can shut down Nano Blade. So here we go, Nano Ram. Oh! Oh! Nano! Whoa! Oh no! Oh, tragic. Okay, let's talk about ult tracking. This entire kerfuffle could have been avoided. So, you know that they have Torbolt because they just used it. You know they have both support ults-ish. If you're in top 500, I'm assuming you're ult tracking and you're getting ready for this. You guys have Nano Blade, so something needs to happen to get this Trank and Lamp out. Otherwise, they're going to Lamp, like one... For them, their optimal is they just Lamp Nano Blade and then Trank your thing, and your thing doesn't even matter because they just run into your team past you. So, someone needs to bite the bullet and take the cooldowns. And if that was you and you're ult tracking that, or if it's your soldier and he's ready, or if it's Valk and Tempo from Valk, I don't think Tempo from Valk's going to do it because they do already have Torbolt down and you don't have space to benefit off the angles and use angles on the Tempo. So it's going to have to be, and Soldier has his visor to counter the Valk. So to me, it seems like the only thing here is you have to use your ult to force these cooldowns. Otherwise, they're going to trade their Trank and their Lamp very effectively. And counter your engage. Boom. They countered your engage. They use their Trank. Their Baptiste gets so much value out of this window because it allows him to hold his high ground against your team. Do you guys win this? That would be amazing because their Discord orb is now always online. You guys have no more resources to take him offline. They have more space. They have the off angles. Oh. Okay, yeah, they didn't wait for their soldier to get back. If they literally kited and played back and their Baptiste didn't die right there, that would have been so hard for your team. Okay, so now you guys are back into this dilemma. I'm assuming that we're gonna hit our head against the wall and get to this point again where they have the high ground, or actually no, they're contesting before the high ground. So it's another one of these. The way to look at Colosseo, oh, that sucks. The way to look at Colosseo is there are 3 different places where team fights can happen. One is right here, where teams are in main facing each other and the lines meet up, and the imaginary line between teams are right here. And it kind of extends out. Another is right here where the kill box and choke are right here. It's very unique where the kill box is right outside the choke and it's so big. And so like the imaginary line in between the teams is like around here, and you have a team here and a team here. And then the final one is in spawn. So you have like a team here or here, and you have the enemy team here or here. But needless to say, it's very different how you play for each of these. Because your win condition, even if it's spam, the way that you play around the map, is you have to gauge that it's very, very different between these 3 places. And if you try to apply the same principles that you were like, oh, it's working in area in the middle, it's not going to work in your spawn. Or it was working in my spawn, it's not going to work in the middle. A good example of this is like when you were on Hog trying to take into that high ground, how you were just in the middle existing, and you got a lot of value out of existing in the middle, and denying angles, once you get to having to take that high ground, you run into the problem of that's not going to work, taking and denying and contesting high ground. And so you're kind of just sitting down there with your hook looking all cute with that piggy thing, and you're just like, hey guys, win? And yeah, like, if you can't control your own fate, someone else is going to control it for you, and they win. And okay, so a lot of small things adding up. Let's just go over the why did I press escape? Why did I press escape? Oh my god, I can't even write on this because there's text on the background. Oh, imported. Where is it? I think it's this one. But needless to say, it is this one. So one, I think talking about just Colosseo, it kind of sucks because, well, I think it's very important. Colosseo, that what I just talked about, like how to play for high grounds, understand your win condition, your how to manipulate the map to be able to get them off the high ground. How you can play in main. You were doing a really good job on Hog doing that and denying them the space when they tried to push forward. Understand the kill boxes, the chokeholds of this map, and the angles on the high grounds. Number 2, ult tracking. I feel like these VOD reviews are rinse and repeat because ult tracking is very hard to do, but it's very necessary, and once you get it, it's very easy. Of course, it's way easier said than done. But, you know, if you look back at your replays and you're like, oh, if I just ult track this, like you guys had Nano Blade, you had Ram ult, they had Window, they had Trank, they had Lamp. If you force the Lamp, that'd be really good. Otherwise, you got no value out of this. If you force the Transcendence, that would have been really good. But still, you got no value out of yours, so it's even better to do that. If you force both of those, then you would have literally won your team the game, or at least that team fight, and that's like a solid percentage of the game. It's like 1/5 of the game, winning that team fight right there. If you win the game, then like honestly, I would say that you played really well and you carried. So that's like the difference between carrying and not carrying is just getting ready for the ults and ult tracking. And number 3, I think it's kind of hard to your mechanics were pretty good. I would say your playing for angles is pretty good. Understanding the tempo and how you can get value out of your kit was decent. It was solid. Maybe it's just those two. Honestly, maybe it's just those two because I talked about a lot of random other small stuff, but like these two are like so very important that like you need to get these two down right now in order to progress as a player and get from like, you know, you have like low GM, you have low mid GM, you have mid GM, mid high GM, where I feel like you are, and then you have high GM. Which is like top 200, and then you have like contenders level, which is around like it's an assumption, like top 100. That's kind of over dramatic, but after contenders, then you have like owl level, and you're at like the right below tier 3 level, which is like mid almost to high GM, where like you need to start doing the ult tracking. You need to understand the maps like it's the back of your hand, and you're very adaptable to these maps. And then, you know, if you're like scrimming with the team, then it's a bit easier because you have your team with you, and there's more brains to help think about this stuff and communicate it. But yeah, that's what's next for you. Good luck in your next ranked games. Hopefully they go well. Yeah, your menace on Hog. Keep it up, I guess. If you're in top 5.